Welcome to tutorial 2 in the Bear Claw Salad Server series, and in the last tutorial we brought in a canvas, we learned how to calibrate it so it's the size we want, and now it's time to trace the bear claw. So we could trace the wooden one here on the left, or we could trace the metal one, I guess this is, on the right. I'm going to trace the metal one just because if you see on the wooden one, you see when you take a picture with a camera, you kind of see more than just the top surface. You can see the edges, which makes it a little harder for me to figure out. I mean, it's doable, but harder for me to figure out where everything begins and ends. So I'm going to go to this one where I don't really see that. So we'll just zoom in on that. And where to begin? There's lots of places you could begin. I'm going to say let's start by creating a sketch. We should know how to do that. And we're going to create it on the top, right? So it's this plane right here. That's my top plane. Click that plane. And now I'm drawing from a top-down view, eagle eye view. Now, I'm going to take my line tool here, and I'm going to click as close as I can to right there, the top of the left-hand corner of the bear claw. And then I'm going to make sure when I go across, I don't follow the bear claw. I'm just going to make sure I'm at 0 degrees so that I'm not on an angle. So I'm going to be there and something like that. Now, I'm looking at the measurement in the blue box there, and it says 3.47. That's probably about right because these outside, it's not 3.5 inches, which you might think it to be. The outside of the claw angles in a bit. So we'll just call it, yeah, we'll just say, okay, key it in, 3.47. Enter. Now, it would be nice if everything on our claw was symmetrical. So we're going to make a center line. So let's make another line. Let's hover over the first line we made and look for that triangle that tells us we found center. When you have the triangle, and I see it there, click and then drag down. I'm just going to drag down a ways so the center line goes all the way down. Make sure that the blue box on the right there, the one that's highlighted in blue, says 90 degrees. I don't really care what the distance is. If I did, I could tab and make that box active and change it, but it doesn't matter to me. So I just want a line there, good enough, like that. So it's telling me how big the line is, 6.5 inches long. Now, this line here, I'm just going to make it for reference, which means it's going to become a different line type, a construction line. So I can use this to change it, or I can click it and hit X on my keyboard. Now it's a construction line. Next part, take a line again, go from make sure it actually snaps to this first line because there's a little box around there. The little box around it tells us that it's snapping. So we'll click that box. Now, this next one we're going to try and follow. And if you, hopefully you already, well, yeah, I shouldn't have told you by now, but hopefully you know how I'm panning around. I'm holding down the middle mouse scroll wheel, and that allows me to pan. And when I'm zooming, I'm just using the scroll wheel, and it zooms in and out. So I'm going to try and follow the outline of this down to where I might start curving. So I'm going to say there. And then I'm going to hit escape to say I've drawn my line. So I'm stop drawing lines. Now, the temptation is to draw another one on this side, but don't, because we'd like our bear claw to be symmetrical. So the best way to do that is to mirror this line, using this line as a mirror line. So there's places that you can find mirroring up here, but the best way to find it is go S for shortcut, and this comes up when you click S on your keyboard. Then in here, start typing the thing you want. So I'm going to type in M for mirror. If I type, and it brings up all the M's, like this big bunch of M's. If you type I again, it's really kind of narrowing it down. The mirror you're looking for is the one, so there's lots of different mirrors. You want the one that looks like outlines, only outlines, because we are in line drawing, and that's the one for line drawing. So we'll click that. You get a little menu. It says, click the objects you'd like to mirror. So I'd like that one. Select the mirror line, center line. It gives you a preview. You push OK. So now I have two mirrored lines. This thing is symmetrical. Next step, we're going to do the circle at the bottom. So the way to do that is to go up to Create and look at your arc options. The one we want is 3-point arc. We're going to create a beginning point. I clicked it. I'm going to make the endpoint, which is snap to the endpoint there. And then I'm going to pull it down on the middle line until I think it's about right. Something like that. Okay, that is it. This tutorial is done. We have traced the outline of our bear claw. In the next tutorial, we're going to actually add these holes, I think. So we're going to add these holes. All right, see you in the next tutorial.